Garrett Blevins here with day one of week 8. Had finally some, I guess I would say some rewards from the effort I've been putting in. This was 590 here for 2, and probably the best double I've ever had with this type of weight. I think these reps were faster and cleaner than anything I've ever done. This first one moved really well, and the second one moved just as well. Really happy with this set. Probably somewhere around RPE 7, actually. It flew up on that second rep. So that is really encouraging going into this peaking cycle. Just a little bit of volume reduction is already paying some pretty good dividends. Followed with my back off work with 545. These went pretty good. Some of the reps were a little high in my opinion. Something I'm working on is making sure that I get my doubles and singles definitely convincingly deep as best that I can. And felt that I did well with the 590 on this day. And even 545 is going pretty good. Really what's been the most helpful recently has been that I have been braking at the wrist when I'm setting up the bar. And what I mean is I kind of kick my wrist back as far as I can and hold the squat bar a little bit more in my fingertips than I do in my palm of my hand. Now, I don't have it all the way out in my fingertips, but it's kind of in between that first and second knuckle. And for some reason, when I kick my wrists back that way, I'm able to get a much better upper back position. And when that upper back feels stable, like when I pulled out that 590, unracking it, it didn't feel like it was heavy at all. I could have had a conversation with somebody with it on my back. It just did not feel heavy. And anytime I set up that way and I get that unrack where it feels like the bar is almost weightless, because it's really being supported by skeletal structures and completely tightened muscles, I know that I have the best possible chance to complete that rep with good form. Likewise, when I'm getting this back position set up, it's allowing me to keep a really good torso angle throughout the squat. My forward lean isn't too much, and I'm able to finish the lift without that kind of traditional sticking point that I usually get. Now you'll see on this set here, this last set was by far my worst set. I set up with my feet just a little too wide and pointed out a little too much. And so that really made the reps difficult for this entire set. All of them were what I would say not my best. You just see they kind of are awkward in that bottom position. And again, that's because my hips weren't hitting the right spot because of my setup with my feet. So something that I need to make sure I get completely consistent. This first set of bench also, not my best set of bench. You'll notice that I'm over tucking my elbows at the bottom of this bench. Part of this is because my arch is not very good. And part of that was due to how hot it was in the gym on this day. It was just really hard not to slip on these bench presses. And so it took me a little while to be able to get my arch and get dug in and actually stay there. Just because I had been sweating so much from the day. I think it was probably more than 85 degrees in the gym on this day. It was just miserable pretty much. In any case, these still moved really well, even with the my elbow position not being the best. For sets of 5, this moved really well, really encouraging. Looking forward to some heavy singles and doubles coming up, both on squats and on bench presses. But things are feeling good moving into this training cycle. That said, I wanted to mention for those of you who have signed up for coaching, I'm very appreciative. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Pretty much the way that I'm bringing clients is on Saturday. That's my first day where I can really sit down and wave a new group of people in. So if you apply during the week, I haven't forgot about you, I haven't missed it, but Saturday is when I do most of the business work for new clients, and you'll be seeing emails here pretty soon on that. Floor press moved pretty well on this day. I used 365 and 385 for various sets. You'll notice I don't have my normal wrist wraps on that sets because I actually had to superset between barbell rows and floor press on 2 sets for time constraints. Definitely not optimal, definitely not something I wanted to do, but I just ran out of time on this day, and it didn't affect strength levels too much. I was still able to increase my floor press from what I'd been doing substantially, so feeling good on this so far. Continuing on from where we left off, I want to talk about a priori and a posteriori knowledge. A priori means it's knowledge that you have that is self-evident or self-revelatory, as opposed to a posteriori, which is knowledge gained after the fact or after an experience. Scientific theory is always dealing with a posteriori types of knowledge when it's dealing with experimentation. And I have an example of that coming up here. So Examples of a posteriori would be the belief that it is presently raining. You would look outside and see if that was the case. That humans tend to dislike pain. How would you know that? You go take a survey. That water is H2O, that dinosaurs existed. These are all examples of a posteriori justification because you have good reason to support each of these claims, but they don't emerge as self-evident. They come from our experience and from the experience of others. Testimonial evidence is still valid in this sense, but you would need to test it to have absolute proof. Now, in contrast, the ideas of all bachelors are unmarried, or cubes have 6 sides, or if today is Tuesday, then today is not Thursday, and so on, these are examples of a priori sorts of knowledge. They're self-evident because by the definition of what you are saying, something is or is not true. A is A, or A is not B, is not really something you need to experience. It's just something you need to think about rationally so that you can understand the topic. So, these are two different sorts of knowledge, and scientific work is going to be dealing with sense experience because of the empiricism that is undergirding science, whereas we might talk about a priori knowledge as another way of knowing that might get us beyond what science can look at, since science doesn't really validate or invalidate those sorts of principles. And I'll point out a specific case that has to do with belief and faith in the next video. Hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.